Well, welcome back to the channel, Old Cars New Van. Well, in last week's fleet update video, I did a very brief section on checking the car battery, and I got a private message from one of the subscribers asking me to go into a bit more detail. So I'm more than happy to do that, which is what I'm going to do in today's video. So when it comes to the actual multimeter itself, unless you're running a professional garage, really just a really simple one like this is all you really need. I mean, this was £8 off Amazon. You don't need anything particularly fancy. So obviously when we're checking a car battery, what we're talking about is voltage, and in particular DC voltage, direct current voltage, which on this multimeter is V with a solid line and dotted line underneath it. But first of all, we've got to get our leads sorted. So the black lead is always ground, effectively common. So that goes into there, marked with COM. And then the red lead, which is your positive, because we're checking voltage, goes into this hole here, marked with a V. Okay. And then you want to turn on your multimeter by selecting the voltage that is the next highest number from the maximum amount that you're likely to be measuring. So in other words, on a car battery, a 12 volt system, it's going to be in the range of sort of 10 to 15 volts. So on this meter, 20 volts is the obvious selection. Okay, so we're back at the car now, and obviously the important thing to identify first of all is which is your negative and which is your positive. On this Fiat, the positive is covered by a plastic covering, and you've got your voltmeter, as we've already previously discussed, and we've already talked about, but there's a bit of a close-up here for you to see more clearly, the V with the solid line and the two dots underneath. And as I mentioned earlier, moving it to the highest voltage above which you're likely to be reading. So 20 volts to cover off a 10 to 15 volt range. So then you get your leads, obviously black, negative. Make sure you get it the right way around. You'll get a minus sign on the screen if you get it the wrong way around, but just don't. Make sure you're putting red to positive and black to negative. And you'll see 13 point something. Now, this is quite interesting because on a 12 volt system, you might be thinking, well, why on earth is it registering 13 volts? Well, this car had been run 10-15 minutes before I did this. So it's got residual charge, excess charge in the battery from obviously the alternator charging the battery. So either check your battery when the car is cold and hasn't started, or be aware of the fact that it's going to be higher than that. So we're now going to go for a cranking test, and what we're looking for is the lowest figure here that it drops to. 11.5, can we agree on that? Now that's reasonable. 9.6 volts or better is what you're looking for on the cranking test. And you can see now it's registering 14.3 round figures, and again a range I work on is sort of 13.8 to 14.8. If it's in that range, then the battery's good. Just going back to the fact that my battery cold was registering 13, if the car hadn't have been run, I'd have been looking for about 12.7, something like that sort of range. That again would indicate that the battery's holding charge and is reasonably charged. So it's the combination of what the alternator's charging at, the cranking rate, and the initial charge. If it's wildly out of those sort of ranges, your battery's goosed, or your alternator's goosed, and you need to investigate further. So as a bonus feature, if we're talking about car batteries and you're messing around with old cars, absolutely essential equipment is to carry a jump starter. I cannot tell you the number of times this has bailed me out, and indeed bailed out complete strangers who I've come across at car shows with a flat battery. These things are just utterly brilliant. I swear by TopDon, this isn't sponsored, I paid for this. But again, because I'm not running a garage, because I'm just an individual running classic cars, I went for the cheapest one, the 1200, which is bottom of the range. They all do the same thing. The only difference between the 1200 and the 2000 and the 3000 is the number of times they can keep on jumping a car without needing charging themselves. the performance is virtually identical, whichever one you go for. I mean, this will jump up to a 6.5 litre petrol car or a 4 litre diesel. The biggest I've ever jumped off this is the 3.5 litre V8 Rover, and it did it like it was nothing. So they are incredibly powerful machines. I would say this base model, the 1200, depending on the size of engine that you'd be jumping, would probably do 7 to 10 cars, 7 to 10 attempts, jumps, before it itself would need charging. I've never tested it to that extreme, I'll be honest with you, because normally once and then you're done, and then when you bring it home you charge it. But absolutely superb piece of kit. Obviously you've got your wires, really easy to use, and this is quite compact, being a small one. It'll have a display on there saying what your current state of charge is. If you want to, you can charge your phone and other accessories off this as well, which can be quite useful at a car show, but don't use it too much because it's there for emergencies for your car battery, obviously. But yeah, if you're messing around with old cars, having one of these, I would say, is the essential piece of equipment. They're about 50 quid, £50 in the UK, but worth every penny. Bailed me out so many times. So I hope that's a useful summary of A, how to check a car battery, and B, if things go wrong, how to get yourself out of trouble. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.